Let me tell you something. I've been a rich man and I have been a poor man, and I choose rich every fucking time.
Welcome to Market Makers, everybody. Your home for tomorrow's TA today. Often imitated, never replicated. Unless you were in total social media blackout this past weekend, you already know there was an assassination attempt on the former President Trump, who is the current frontrunner to be president once again. Lee and I are not oblivious to this fact. We're going to be releasing a special report, a special YouTube video for all of you tomorrow. We're really excited to make this video. Guys, I have a lot of questions. This historical event, something similar, hasn't happened since I was 3 years old, back in 1981 when Ronald Reagan was shot. And the premise of my questions is really along the theme of, was this conspiracy or incompetence or a hybrid of both? And I'm genuinely curious to know what my audience thinks, because you know I reply to all the comments. Tell me what you guys think in the comments, based on what you know from the commentary you've heard, based on what you know from the facts that have come out, and based on what your own thought process is. Let me know in the comments, and let me know if you're excited to see this video. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, because you know YouTube is not going to suggest this video to you. But this video today is going to be about the market, because the market, your guide to the blow off top, your roadmap to the blow off top, is tracking exactly as we've been talking about for over a month now. The two strongest weeks of the year are in July, going back 100 years. The average gain in July is 4.66%. We're not even at the average gain yet. Could we have a higher push up? That's what we're going to look at in the charts, guys. But in general, what we're looking for is the summer top and drop. Why? Because for the last 5 years in a row, that summer top and drop averaged 10.5%. Juicy trades. At that point, we will drop, we will base, and we were going to rebound. That rebound will either take out the all-time high or make a lower high. So I know half of you think wherever we top now, wherever this push-up ends, that is the all-time high. And the other half of you think we're going to drop and then get another blow off top. So we're going to see how that plays out. But honestly, guys, as traders, it doesn't matter as long as I can get my trade before the drop and get the base for a long, because this is what we're doing. We're living in the moment, looking at the swings. This is how you profit in these highly volatile markets. And this is going to be a lot of fun from a trading perspective. Lee, without further ado, let's get into the charts and start the show. All right, guys, if you intend to trade these markets, just a reminder, check out SimpleFX as well as Bitunix. Both those links are in the video description. If you have any questions about joining our Discord, our Telegram link is in the video description as well. Message Lee, he will get back to you. Let's go ahead and start off with the ES, the S&P futures. Again, going back to the GFC cycle, we cover this all the time because it's important, because we're tracking exactly to it so far. Look at when the rally started back in the GFC, June of 2007. And if you push this all the way up to where we made our top, July 16th, we then got a 12.5% drop, and then the last final push-up. And that final push-up occurred in tandem with where I've been saying we're going to get the Fed rate cut, September 18th, the exact same day the Fed first cut rates in the GFC, and you got a little bit of a rally after that. That put in your all-time high in the marketplace before your 57% decline in the market. This was nearly a 7% rally after the first rate cut. I believe we're going to track pretty much identical to these movements. We're doing it right now. If the July push up to a top, we're going to see if we get our strong retracement and then our blow off top all-time high. And that's the cycle. That's all she wrote, folks. Let's go ahead and look at ES. Guys, on a zoomed out version, I want to look at everything on a 3-day chart today. It's important to look at the zoomed out version. This is my harmonic wave count that I'm looking at, a wave of 5. Wave 5 here, I have ending by July 30th. Why July 30th? We already know the two strongest weeks are July 1st to July 14th. However, when you look at recent history, we ran up to July 27th last time. July 27th on the 3-day candles, it was your July 26th candle here, 2023. And then you had a nice 11% decline after that. So that's what we're looking at from a timing perspective. Sometime this week, later this week, or next week. Remember, we're in earnings right now. We should be looking for our top to be forming, and we could be forming our top right now. This is very important. When we look at our projections of how we got that wave 3 target, we can pull down from wave 1 down to the cycle low. This was a beautiful hit. This was an easy trade that we took. Wave 3 here at 5334, 5,334 at harmonic expansion, the 1618. Excellent retracement down. And now we have the move up. Where could our target get if we do get more euphoria with earnings? Look, guys, we could be topping out as we speak. We made a new intraday all-time high today as I was recording this. But if we do get more movement to the upside, I start looking in 50-point chunks when you get near your target zone. 57.67 is a 200%, the doubling of the move. And that's what I'm looking at, 57.67. So 57.50. Today, you already got up to 57.18. Highly achievable. Let's see if we can get that final push up to this, because I'll be looking for that top and then looking for that drop. Let's just assume, and again, we don't know because we don't have final candles yet before a turn, but let's just assume we do get up to this 57.67 level, right? Where would 10% take you? Just mathematically is what I'm interested in. 10.5%. Takes you right back down about 5150, right in this range. So when we look at this from Fibonacci, we got to remove these Fibonacci targets. But when you look at this from a Fibonacci perspective, I'm looking at this wave 4 up to the wave 5. If we look at that 5767, right about here, 5760. We look at this, you're looking at these levels of the 618 at 5268, the 786, 5134. You'd be looking for price to come up, make some type of top, maybe a 3-wave pattern, and then begin its descent down to that 5,200 level. Let's call it 5,250 down to 5,150, somewhere in this 100-point level where you're going to attempt to bottom. You will rally back up either for a lower high, right? Lower high, top back out, or a higher high, giving you another blow off top. But guys, we'll see how long this takes to play out, because last year, I mean, we just did this last year. Last year, this did not bottom until October 27th. Okay. The election's November 5th. Your bottom was October 27th. How crazy would that be if this ended up playing out something similar? We take a long time here. You took 93 days to bottom after your July top. 93 days, right? Remember the divisions of a circle. So you took 93 days. So if you did that same move and came down to bottom in October, rally back up, maybe with the election, maybe it's a landslide, maybe people are feeling very patriotic because of the events that occurred. You could see a lot of confluence with this in a market, but really the timing is what I'm interested in for this near-term top. I'm looking for this top in by the end of the month, right? Because we topped out July 27th last time. So sometime this week, next week, we have to be on watch. Earnings could disappoint at any time, or earnings could give a boost back up. So it's really important to track your targets. As I'm recording, you're at 56.95. Watch that 5,700 to 57.67 on the S&P. You guys want more of a deep dive on different charts, on other components here in the S&P as well. Be sure to check out our Discord, because I make 2 additional videos a week on the Discord and hang out there daily. So let's go ahead and look at this as well on the NQ. NQ, guys, we've been talking about, I gave you this chart months ago, the natural doubling in the marketplace, as Charles Dow wrote about. Here's your cycle low. Remember this chart that I shared with you? A 100% move north gets you to 20,990. Where did that candle get to on the 3-day chart? 20,983. Again, my 5-wave count, I put the same exact sticker here, July 30th. The NASDAQ previously topped, as you can see, July 18th. So basically, the NASDAQ topped this week last year, right? And you can see the NASDAQ has already been struggling here on the 3-day chart, putting in this peak, hitting our 100% expansion target. So this is something you want to track really closely. You're at 20,621. We want to watch for topping action here on the NASDAQ. Let's go ahead and put this on a daily really quickly, because the most common pattern that you see is your 3-wave moves. And that's what you have right here. Your rise up, down, and now you're just struggling to come back up. So the most simple thing you can do, and you can do this at home, you can do this on your phone, you can do it on a laptop, is watch the resistance levels with Fibonacci from your all-time high down to that retracement here. You got up just above the 618 at 20,736. Watch that 20,850 at the 786. And then, of course, watch your equidistant move back up here to 20,983 if you can get more euphoria in the marketplace. But we are on topping patterns in these big indices, guys. Let's go ahead and look at the Bitcoin on the 3-day chart, because Bitcoin's been tracking gorgeous. As you guys know, they've been watching the channel the last 6 months. Break out from the diamond pattern, hit our 200% expansionary target beautifully. And now what I'm looking at, I gave you these targets again months ago. Now what we're looking at, we had our target here with our fractal. Let me get that target here of a fractal 53K, which was essentially struck within a couple $100. Got your rebound. But what you're looking at on this larger 3-day pattern, guys, is obviously you have your 3-wave move, right? Go over this all the time. You have your 3-wave move, you had your neckline break, and now you're getting your rebound back up. So what I'm looking at here is I'm looking at this as 3 waves to a bottom. Again, this first wave down was 23.5%. This second wave down was about 26%, I think, 26%. Now it's all about this rebound, the dead cat bounce, where this is going to top out at. This is a 3-day, 50-day moving average. It's about 500 points higher than it is on the daily right now. This is about 64,550. So let's just assume, again, we don't know, because the candles are moving right now. But let's say we get to 65K, right? Let's say we get up to about 65K, which is just above the 3-day moving average. And let's just look at these wave symmetry here. Your average move down here is 25% in these waves. Let's just look at the wave symmetry. 25% takes you down to about 48. If we go a little bit deeper, because this was almost a 3% gain between the waves. So let's say we go to 29%. 29% is going to take you right to these targets that we've been talking about for months, the 45, 46K area on the next wave down, okay? So we can get this rebound back up. We'll top out at some level and then break back down. When the markets top and drop, I think you're going to see Bitcoin come down to this next cluster of candles. When I talked about the 52K target, when Bitcoin was at 70, people said it wouldn't happen. It happened, right? The 53K target. And now we're getting our rebound. And now we want to watch for a topping action here. Again, we're zooming out today, looking at the larger patterns, because this is really important to see how price is behaving. Let's go and look at this from a Fibonacci perspective as well. So open this chart up. We're going to take our fib here from this fractal high of the second peak, pull it down to that current low. Your 618 is at 64,914, which is essentially 65K. What you want to look for is getting into this 65K region, staying at or below 68K, and see if we get some type of topping action with the market's volatility, the market's chopping, something in this range, something in this region for us to trade. I don't trade off of pumps. I don't trade off of hitting a number. I trade off of patterns that form, right? These W patterns that form, the M patterns that form. This is how we trade, and this is how you get higher probability trades. So right now, you have a rebound back up on a large time frame. Key resistance, 65K, 68K. Let's see what happens in between or at that 68K level, because it could give us a very nice trade here moving forward. What's gold doing? Gold's trying to break out of its accumulation range, 24.31. is the high that you need to break to get above this range, and you're at 24.31 right now. Gold's forming its nice little W pattern as well. You can see this move here. Where do I think gold's going? Well, let's look at it. I think if gold breaks out, if the markets can push up a little bit higher, if gold does break out, I think your first target's 24.73, your second target's 25.26, and I think you'll be putting in some topping action as the markets put in their topping action as well. Okay, so you want to watch that, but that's still a very nice move. 24.73, 25.26, those are the next logical targets here for gold to hit, and let's see if those resistances hold. Let's go ahead and move forward. Let's look at the Aussie market. For our Australian friends, Sydney is one of the biggest cities that watches my channel, actually. Again, 3-day chart, guys. He threw this nice triangle pattern. You can see this just as easily on the daily as well. Through this nice triangle pattern here on the 3-day chart, on the daily chart. And now you want to look at where are these targets, right? So I put this on the 3 days so you could see the W a little bit easier, right? You can see the W pattern here a little bit easier. But if you pull your fib here from the May 14th, 2024 candle down to that next corrective low, you hit your target beautifully at the 1272 at 8,024. If you can stay up in this range between 79.36 and 8,024, put in some type of basing action. Your harmonic target, your harmonic expansion target is 81.35, where I would be looking for this to make some type of topping action as the other markets top. Could this be the top right where you are? Of course it could. It depends on what kind of patterns you start forming, which is why you trade in different time frames, right? But even on the daily, you're just now hitting this resistance level. So you want to see what happens here. If you push up, retrace, push back up, make a lower high at the 618 or 786, then guess what, guys? That could be your double top. That would be your entry target, and then you would have your retracement back down, okay? So that's the Aussie market. Let's look at the DAX. Very fan favorite to trade. I love trading the DAX. We've been talking about this channel, 3-day chart, very simply pulling a fib from the all-time high down to that corrective low. The 786 has just been a real beast to get above 18,793. You did get above it. You got up to 18,927, and now you're trading at 18,715. So again, you want to see if the velocity, if the momentum in these markets is starting to die. You're in the bearish territory still, and money flow momentum is trying to turn positive, but it is still relatively neutral. Let's look at the daily. Daily, the momentum's rolling over. MFI is in the bullish territory, but making a double top shape. So again, you want to see if you can hold these levels and see if the markets will continue to rally. This will all come down to how long the S&P will stay strong. It stayed strong till July 27th, 2023 last year. The NASDAQ failed just a little bit over a week before it topped out, which means this week would be the week to really start looking for that NASDAQ top if it was to track as it did last year. No reason it has to, but historical norms is what I'm interested in for these higher probability trades. And we may have some more legs still in the S&P, but we're going to see how it all plays out. Guys, stay tuned to this station for the next video update, and be sure to watch our special report tomorrow. I'll talk to you guys in the comments. Hope to see you all in the Discord. I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a fantastic week.